With the Marvel movies, one thing I've noticed is the transitioning of film ideas that started in the film ending up in the comic book interpretation of the character and changing it. One of the things that I noticed was when you had the first Iron Man movie, that HUD display inside his helmet, something like that was never in the comic books that I could ever recall. You have never seen something like that on the comic book Iron Man. But they did that in the movie, and it looked fantastic. It was an improvement. So this was a couple of years after the movies have been out. I was flipping through one of the storylines in Iron Man, and what did he have? He had a HUD display very similar to the Iron Man movie, where you see these things inside the helmet, and you see all this technical stuff inside the helmet from his view. And I'm like, they took that from the movie. You know, that idea, that concept. And there's been quite a bit of that going around where I think Star-Lord, for example, has taken bits from his movie representation. And I guess as a comic fan, I guess if you're a fan of the purity of the comics, you know, how cool is that? Is that something you like? Is that something you don't like? Well, to be fair, that's happened way long ago, because it was the Superman radio show, for example, that had, was it Up and Away? I think a mention of kryptonite possibly. Those elements made it into the comic books from Superman, things that were on the radio show first. So this transition from movies or other sources of comic material being essentially put into the comic book character itself is not anything new. It's just the way it is. It's neither good or bad, but if it works, I guess, and it gets incorporated into the comic and it could be made to improve the character, then okay, then that's okay. But at the same time, I don't think you want to see your comic character become a cheap carbon copy of the movie representation, because it's always going to be two separate things, you know. And so that's the topic of this quick video post.